Hey, I just saw this on my Facebook page because I am fairly local to Springfield, Ohio, so I'm going to read something to you. My name is Kyle Kaler, and I am a former state representative for Springfield, Ohio, and the Clark County area. I am currently a candidate for the state senate covering Clark, Greene, and Clinton counties. Over the last 4 years, Haitians who are crossing the border or in fact flown to our country as refugees have been given temporary protected status by the federal government. Under the Biden-Harris administration, they not only are protected, but they are given between $600 to $1,600 a month on debit cards through the Refugee Cash Assistance Program and allowed access to all public assistance programs available to U.S. citizens. Since early 2020, a temporary staffing company in Springfield started actively bringing Haitian refugees to our city. First a few hundred, then thousands. As of this month, our local Job and Family Services has registered over 20,000 Haitian refugees in our county and city. Springfield, which had a steady population of about 58,000, now has an additional 20,000 new residents in and around Springfield, 20,000 people in just under 4 years. Our public school system, with just over 8,000 students, suddenly has over 1,600 non-English speaking students. 19-year-old Haitian men and women are being enrolled as high school freshmen and are in a class with 13-year-old boys and girls. The staffing company that started this migration, in quotation marks, is owned by a man that has over 63 rental properties in the Springfield area. Instead of getting the normal $600 to $800 in rent each month, he rents cots for $250 a month to as many as 20 to 25 Haitians per home. He charges them $25 for round trips to work each day. They work under contracts preventing them from being hired full-time at their place of employment. This and the barrier of not speaking English causes them to become basically indentured servants, in my opinion. Since no one over the age of 18 requires a driver's license in Ohio, driver's education in Ohio, Haitians are allowed to take the permit test with an interpreter who basically gives them all the answers. Since permit in Haitian language of Creole is interpreted as permission, most never take the actual driving test. This means hundreds of Haitians who cannot speak English and have no idea what the driving laws actually say are now causing accidents all over their community. There are Facebook pages created by individuals dedicated to reporting accidents involving Haitians. The number of overturned cars being reported each day on the streets where the speed limits are 35 miles per hour or less would shock you. 1 year ago, a Haitian man pulled in front of a school bus, causing the bus to overturn, ejecting children, and resulting in the death of one 11-year-old student. Our county health department has reported an increase in HIV cases over the last 5 years. Based on our country health department based on their numbers, we will hit an increase at 871% over the previous 5 years. Nurses have confirmed that an entire wing of our regional hospital has nothing but Haitian patients being treated for HIV. A delivery nurse reports that 70% of all scheduled cesareans are for Haitian women who cannot deliver naturally because of HIV. TB cases are up over 500% for the same period. Our federally qualified healthcare, FQHC, called Rocking Horse, is overwhelmed with the increase of Haitians that are automatically qualified for Medicaid services. Our public safety officials have confirmed that charges against most Haitians who break the law are almost immediately dismissed because of lack of translators, meaning that the courts cannot provide speedy trial, so they are simply arrested and released. City, county, and state leaders are overwhelmed with complaints that they can do very little about fixing. Last month, a group calling themselves Blood Tribe marched past a jazz and blues festival carrying large swastika flags and rifles. Their leaders showed up last week at a city commission meeting and publicly warned the mayor of impending savagery if he didn't stop the migration of Haitians into our community. Not cool. I told you I was bringing the bad news. Let me tell you, this is not about race. As a grandfather of 7 children, 5 of whom are wonderfully loved children of color, I can assure you this has nothing to do with the race or color of someone's skin. I understand that these folks are fleeing a hellhole of a country run by gangs. They are thankful to be here, but our community simply cannot handle an influx of 20,000 new residents who do not understand our language, our culture, our laws, and are being treated, in my opinion, as indentured servants. The bad news is that the current administration has allowed millions of individuals to come across the border and, in this case, even be flown into our country. Our communities in Ohio are only just beginning to understand the full impact of the last 4 years. Your community could be next. Now, the good news. The good news is that the answer lies in your hands as voters. The good news lies in putting Donald Trump back in the White House and Bernie Moreno as our next U.S. Senator from Ohio. The good news comes in 60 days when we could take back our country, seal our borders, and bring sanity back to the United States of America. From the Ohio Supreme Court to the U.S. Senate race, from electing local officials up to electing Donald Trump, our nation depends on your vote. Our state depends on your vote, and the community of Springfield, Ohio depends on your vote. Please don't let us down. And that is coming from a former representative here in the state of Ohio, Clark County, who lives in the Springfield area, owns